Welcome to Holmes: A Century in the Making, the podcast that deep dives into the heart of Holmes Community College, a cornerstone of education and opportunity in Central Mississippi. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Lawson, and we are part of the Holmes Community College Phi Theta Kappa leadership team, which helps promote student academic achievement.
And in this special series, we'll be exploring the rich and inspiring journey of Holmes Community College. Holmes Community College started with a simple goal: to help people in Holmes County learn and grow. Whether you're walking in the halls on campus or logging in from home, Holmes has something for you. Whether it's getting ready to transfer to university, learning a new trade, or just picking up new skills along the way, it's a place that opens doors and welcomes you to take that next step, whatever your journey looks like.
Over the next 5 episodes, we'll take you on a historical journey exploring the advancements, challenges, and milestones that have shaped Holmes Community College through the decades. From its humble beginnings to its present-day role as a dynamic educational hub, you'll hear stories that celebrate the spirit and dedication of this remarkable institution. So stay tuned as we uncover the foundation and future of Holmes Community College.
Now, to understand where Holmes Community College began, we need to travel back to 1925, a very different time in Mississippi's history. The college was created to bring together scattered rural schools to give students in Holmes County a chance to continue their education beyond high school.
Back then, Mississippi's education system was divided into 3 separate tracks: agricultural high schools for the rural students, county high schools for general education, and Rosenworld schools for black students who attended segregated facilities. Holmes Community College was founded right in the middle of this complex and divided system, with a mission to serve the community and provide new opportunities for learning. Let's dive deeper into that story.
I would like to introduce our guest today, Mr. Wood. He is a history professor here on the Goodman campus at Holmes Community College. We've brought him here today to ask him a few questions and to receive insight on some aspects of life in the early 20th century in rural Mississippi. Mr. Wood, what kind of education did most people in Mississippi have access to in 1925?
Let's think about where Mississippi was in 1925 in the field of education. There were very limited opportunities for education in Mississippi at this time. There were not many schools, period. There was a very high rate of illiteracy, and there were very limited public options for education. There were people that knew how to read, but there were limited people that knew how to read.
Also, Mr. Wood, in what ways did poverty affect attendance and literacy rates in the early 1920s?
Well, when we're thinking about poverty and attendance and literacy, some of those buzzwords that we think so much of today, we need to think about the limited resources by most families in this time period. Most families had their own farm or they were sharecroppers. Those farms in particular, during certain times, had overwhelming majority of problems instead of solutions. Much of the year you were tending to your farm, leaving very little time for you to actually go to school and to receive stated education. So if you're on the farm most of your life and you don't get a chance to even go to a school and you don't have the means of transportation of even getting to a school, then you probably don't put education as a very high priority or literacy as a high priority in your life.
And what challenges did junior colleges face in Mississippi in terms of resources, faculty, or infrastructure during the 1920s?
So when we're thinking about this and we're talking about education and then trying to really talk about how this college is forming at this time, you have to really be thinking about the state of Mississippi and why Mississippi could even want a college system such as this. One of the main barriers is going to be funding. Funding for the college and funding to find the educators to actually serve and instruct at the college. That was probably the main concern, is finding the funding and finding the educators to actually serve in these capacities that have the education ability to pass on the knowledge to teach people. Not to mention that there was a very limited amount of transportation available for most people at this time period.
Thank you for that insight. Okay, quick history moment. Did you know Holmes Junior College started with just 42 acres of land?
Yes, 3 men, Kimbrough, Tate, and Elmore, bought it back in 1911. And there was no big ceremony. They just decided, hey, let's build a school.
And that they did. That land became Holmes County Agricultural High School. Then it grew and eventually became the new college we know today.
So, Mr. Wood, Was agriculture a significant structure for Holmes County?
So when we're talking about agriculture in Holmes County, the location of where our college is, we're talking about agriculture not just being a focal point of that area, but a focal point of Mississippi and much of the southeastern region of the United States. Much of the South had not become industrialized like other parts of the United States. The massive amounts of industry that were coming in the North had not made their way near into the South. I would even go as far as saying the percentages going, as I can't give you exact site of an exact book, but 90% of all your really industry, as far as factories and those type of things that are easy to think about, 90% of that infrastructure of industry was in areas not in the South. The South was still a very agricultural based place. With that being said, with agriculture being such a prime stone of the economy and the prime stone of so many people's life, you have to think about the problems that a lot of these people faced. We think of drought and we think of dry conditions. It wasn't necessarily always needing to learn how to irrigate systems, and these farmers needed to learn irrigation methods. That was one way that the college would help, but also to be able to control flooding. Flooding had been a problem not only around the Mississippi River but in other areas because of tributaries that go into larger waterways. But these massive amounts of rain in certain times of the year would cause massive amounts of flooding that you may have a drought in August that you would have to work on irrigation, learn irrigation skills. But if the whole crop that you had planted at the end of March got washed away in April from a flood, what are you going to do then? So that was the significance of having this college, having an agricultural school to provide maybe some of these skills and some of this knowledge to help some of the farmers, other than just word of mouth, but actually a formal education.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Next, we'll talk about the first presidents of Holmes Junior College. The first president was Emmy Moorhead, but the second one, MC McDaniel, really shook things up. He took out a $15,000 loan so they could offer a full second year of classes.
Plus, he helped start the Growl, the school paper, and the Cornerstone yearbook, so students could have a voice and memories.
And get this, right before the Great Depression hit, the county approved a $125,000 bond to expand the campus. We're talking new dorms, science cottages, teacher housing, everything.
Honestly, they didn't even know who they were building it for, just believed in the future, and that's what makes it a legacy. All right, let's talk about what campus life at Holmes looked like back in the early days. Spoiler alert, it was very different from today.
First off, this was before desegregation, so diversity wasn't even on the radar yet.
And most students were local, coming from around north central Mississippi. Goodman was the heart of it, but some came from as far as Memphis.
Total small town vibes. But even then, the school was pretty active. Holmes had over 15 student organizations. My personal favorite is Boys High Y. What do you even think that stood for?
Honestly, it kind of sounds like the intramurals we have today, just add service, like, High Y, we do service projects and play basketball.
And don't forget Girls Reserve. It kind of sounds like a secret society.
It does, but hey, they also had legit stuff like the Elithan Literary Society, the Glee Club, Hiking Club, language clubs, sports teams such as football, basketball, cheerleading, so students stayed busy.
It wasn't just books and chores. They were performing, competing, organizing, basically doing what students do today, just without cell phones or Spotify.
And fun fact, this decade wasn't full of drama for the school. No major crises or controversies. Holmes just kind of grew.
Simple times. No Wi-Fi, just high Y meetings and Glee Club rehearsals.
I am just so excited to get into these next decades of Holmes Community College. Just thinking out loud, if I were to put myself into the shoes of the founder of Holmes Community College, the state that is in right now would only be a figment of my imagination, having multiple campuses and so many opportunities for everyone.
So am I. There's so much to get into, and this episode just scratches the surface of this amazing school. Thank you all for joining us today, including Mr. Wood. We hope you stick around for our next few episodes.
Most definitely. We have so much information that we are ready to share with you all. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know. We are open to any questions or comments that you may have for us, and that's what we're here for.
Once again, I'm Lawson.
And I'm Lindsay. And this is Holmes, a Century in the Making.